Hey kids, it's the Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Now out and about on an extremely chilly day. It's about 3 degrees out and there's still a little bit of snow lying around, but the roads seem to be clear. So I hope that's the case, because riding in ice is never much fun on a bike, is it? But anyway, I've still got the little the Triumph Street Triple R. I haven't actually been able to take it back to Triumph because the weather's been so flipping cold and so icy. I just didn't fancy a 2.5 hour ride on the bike. So I thought I'd come out and have another little spin on her while I've got her, and just do a little vlog for you on a subject that can be a little bit tricky. And that subject is it right that vloggers should be paid for making videos on YouTube? And if so, how should they be paid? So if that's of some interest to you, stick around and stay tuned for the next few minutes. Let's have a little talk about that. So it's always a bit of a controversial subject, isn't it, getting paid for doing stuff? And there are all sorts of ways potentially that vloggers can get paid. Now I do make a little bit of money from my YouTube activities, not a whole lot, certainly not as much as you'd expect for the amount of hours that go into it. I get paid, I worked out the other day, I get paid for the hours I put in each week below minimum wage. And the ways that I get money on YouTube are through something called AdSense, which is basically Google paying me for advertising space. So when you see the adverts roll at the start of my videos, whether you skip them or not, I get paid for that. And in general I get about £1 per 1,000 views out of that, so that doesn't add up to very much when you look at the number of views that I get. Then I also get a little bit of payment through sponsorship. As you may know, I'm sponsored by Principal Insurance, so I'm very grateful to. They pay me a little bit each month, and that just helps me make these videos possible. And that's it, really. That's how I do. Oh, and also I have a little bit of income sometimes from something called Amazon Associates. When you see the links below my video, and they're Amazon links, if you actually go onto Amazon and you buy something from Amazon, even the thing that I've linked to, or indeed anything else that you buy during that browsing session, I'll get a little bit of commission on that as well. Again, doesn't add up to much, but when you add all those things together, it's a significant enough pot, and it means that it basically pays for my bikes to run. So that's great, so I'm very happy with that. But it's certainly not enough, as I say, to make a living on. So the question is, how can you make more money, and is it right to do so? So there are a couple of other ways of doing that. The first thing is something called Patreon. Basically, it's where you it's like a crowdfunding thing. I'm sure you've come across it before. Lots of YouTubers do it. I don't do it. We're riding here very carefully because it's super slippery still out here, and I'm thinking I should have cut this ride short fairly soon, because the bike is squirming around all over the place. Riding in ice, never a good idea. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of snow on the roads. Anyway, yeah, so to Patreon, and this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, because as I say, a lot of YouTubers do this, and some people do it in a more kind of in-your-face way than others. They're always talking about it, always asking you to subscribe to their Patreon feed, and that can get a bit annoying, and that's kind of why I haven't gone down that route. I don't like asking for money, because patently I'm not poor, I'm not on the breadline, I'm lucky enough to have a nice life, so asking you for money just feels wrong to me. So I've not gone down that route. Well, that's not to say I won't do it in the future though, because if you've liked my videos, and I do put a lot of effort and so on into them, then there is an argument to be said, why shouldn't people, out the way pheasant, my goodness me, that was a close one. There is an argument to be said, $1 a month or something, that's not a lot to ask for something if you're enjoying these sort of 12-15 videos a month that I put out. But as I say, I haven't gone down that route yet. But I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts on that, whether you think Patreon is a good or bad thing, or whether that's just something that vloggers should steer clear of. So lots of people do it, they make significant money doing it. I'm told that some people make more money with their Patreon support than they do from the advertising revenue, and that sounds quite appealing to me. Would mean that I could fund some more trips and tours, things like that. So that's why I quite like to do it, but I want to understand your view on whether that's something that you just think would be a step too far. My personal view is that I'd like to get more sponsors, really, so I'm really pleased that Principal Insurance Company have come on board, and very thankful for them. I'm hoping that having them on board isn't diluting the content to a point where you think that I've sold out or I've gone all corporate on you. That's something I'm very aware of, and something also that, to their eternal credit, Principal are very aware of as well, and certainly don't want to impact my content in any negative way. So that's great. So other sponsors like that would be fantastic. I have targeted a few companies. So far no dice, unfortunately, but if you know anyone that you think might be a good sponsor, or indeed if you're a company and you're thinking of getting into YouTube sponsorship yourselves, then do drop me a note to my email address below the description, and let's have a chat. Again, doesn't need to be a huge amount of money. In fact, it's extremely good value compared to, for example, advertising in a magazine or something. But that's kind of the way that I've been going, to try and you know, get some funding so I can do more trips and tours. What I'd really like to do is buy a decent new camera that I can use in the garage, but I just haven't got the money to do that, and you know, a bit of sponsorship would go some way to doing that. So that's sort of my favoured route, because of course it doesn't impact you, I hope, the viewer, unless you tell me that you think it does impact your viewing experience, the fact that I have that little logo at the start and end of my videos, and whether you would be upset by more logos joining that. I'd be very interested to hear, and also really interested to hear in your comments below what you make of the whole Patreon thing, and whether you think that's something that should or shouldn't be done. So I guess to answer my own question, should YouTubers be paid for vlogging? Well, I think if they're putting a lot of effort into it and producing a lot of content, and personally I am putting a lot of a lot of effort into it, and I am producing quite a lot of content, then I think it's fair enough to get paid in any way that you can do that. But is it a step too far doing the Patreon thing? I guess that's really my question. So do leave me a comment below. Would love to hear that, and what you think about that, and that'll have a direct effect as to whether I go that route or not in the future. Okay, so that's about it. Just a little short vlog for you today. Just wanting to get out and about on the bike again, but it's so slippery out here on the roads. I can feel the bike squirming around under me. It's not a nice feeling, so I think I'm going to abandon this ride as soon as I can. It's spectacular out here. As you can see, there's still lots of snow on the deck. Luckily not on the roads, but it's so cold there is ice about, and it ain't a nice feeling. Hello sir, it's another two-wheeler running the gauntlet. And according to the Street Triple R, it's 3 degrees out here, so shouldn't be ice on the roads, but you never know in a dark area. It definitely calls for the old heated gloves. And today again there's a sort of an experiment on winter clothing. What I've done is I'm wearing my summer jacket, the Oxford jacket that so many people have commented on that you like, this Oxford jacket, and I've got my my riding jeans on, but I have got thermal underwear on. I have to say I'm relatively toasty. Heated gloves as well are a great idea this time of year. If you haven't got heated grips on the bike, then they're well worth investigating. If you haven't seen my review on these, by the way, these are the Vice heated gloves. I did a review on them about a year or so ago. Go and check that out. They work to a degree, I'd say. I've used them a lot, and they're definitely better than not having heat. But when it's this cold, you know, I'll be lying to say my hands are warm. Right then, how dodgy is it up here? Looks pretty tricky. Let's have a look. Right then, it's this hard packed slushy ice stuff that is horrible to ride on. Okay, with that I'm out of here. Well, experimenting wrapping up warm in a different set of clothing is one thing. I'm not freezing, but it's not particularly toasty either, so I'm heading back home. But would be really interested to hear your views on the whole getting paid for doing YouTube thing, and in particular whether you think sponsorship gets in the way of my videos, and whether you think going down the Patreon route would be a route too far. We'd love to hear what you think. Alright, that's it for now. Keep warm. Stay safe on the bikes in this weather, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Until then, this has been the Mr. and Flyer. Cheerio.